In 2000, we bought an abandoned 100-acre farm in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. We spent years cleaning it up, built a new house, and now are trying to make it a functional homestead farm. Welcome to Red Toolhouse.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Red Toolhouse. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch our videos. It is a beautiful April day. It's about 68 degrees, maybe 70 degrees. Sun's out, a little breeze. It's not raining. It's great. Things are actually starting to show some color. That's why I'm standing in front of the forsythia bush here. Get a little color in. I've noticed the past 10 episodes have been all been very brown. This time of year, everything's brown. So I thought we need to get some color in here. Things are starting to get green. I don't know who Cynthia is, but she really puts together a nice plant there. So today we're going to kind of hang around the topic of water, and we're going to look at irrigating our blueberry bushes, and we'll dive into that. I also want to take this time real quick to address comments. Again, I appreciate the comments. They are the motivator for me. Even if you don't necessarily agree with what we're doing, you guys have been very good to give responses there. And even if you've got some suggestions or other ideas, everyone's been very amicable about it, and we appreciate that. We appreciate civility, because we know obviously we don't have all the answers, and you may see something we're doing glaringly wrong, and I'll be more than happy to take criticism. So I appreciate everybody responding. But we had a comment on our last video, and this is from Todd Caskey, and Todd says, always good videos. Appreciate that, Todd. Thank you for that. He says, are your chickens going to be in a chicken tractor? And I'm pretty certain Todd's referring to the meat chickens, the breed chickens that we have. We've got the Cornish Cross and the Red Rangers that we've got that just got his chicks last week. So are we going to put those out on chicken tractors? Yes, that is the plan. We're going to have two tractors, if I can get my construction underway there. We have two tractors, and we're going to put the Cornish Cross in one, and we're going to put the Red Rangers in others, or in the other one, and then we're going to have them side by side. And again, that'll be the test there, and we'll see how well they do. And same pasture, same tractor build, same feed access, all that type of thing. And what we're going to build is we're actually going to try the John Siskovich chicken tractor plans. If you guys are familiar with John Siskovich, Farm Marketing Solutions, he has a YouTube channel, blog, website, but he is a full-time farmer in Connecticut. He raises, I believe he raises well over 1,000, if not 2,000 Cornish Cross a year for his customers, Chicken CSA and other customers. He raises pigs, and the farm that he's on is a microbrewery, hop yard, all that type of thing. Really interesting. You ought to check him out. But he wrote a book. He took the Joel Salatin chicken tractor plan and kind of changed it up a little bit, made what from his perspective, are improvements. Probably the biggest difference is the height. His chicken tractors, they stand 6 to 7 feet tall, and they basically give you an opportunity to walk into them. And I've had tractors like the Salatin plan where you're leaning over. Again, we don't have a lot of flat land, so I like the idea of being able to walk into something and be able to tend the animals there easily without having to crawl in or crawl under or flip the tractor over, that type of thing. So we're going to give that a shot. Now, I may make some modifications. I'm one of those guys that's, I guess the technical term is design build. I build based upon the materials, so we may not necessarily follow John's plan specifically. We may make some alterations there, but it'll be based off that. I got his book. I recommend you getting his book. It's written very well. He did a good job. It's a good solid plan to detail how to build that tractor, and we'll definitely have some video of that, building that tractor and those tractors, and showing what we've got going on there. So let's jump right into it. Alrighty, well, this may look familiar. Obviously, we talked about our IBC tote a couple episodes ago. A bit of rainwater there. Use this to provide water down to the barn when we were doing some concrete work. But the primary purpose of this is our irrigation supply for our blueberry patch. We have a small 12-plant blueberry field that we created. It's just 12. We're obviously just growing that. Planted them last year, and so they look like they're starting to come back. And it's time to get the irrigation in place. And what I use is a drip irrigation that actually sends a little nozzle down to each plant, to the roots. And of course we need to feed that. And so this 270-gallon tank or 275-gallon tank is the source for that. But what we're going to do, obviously this is not the spot for it. The benefit of West Virginia is we have a ton of water. and we have a lot of uneven ground. So water and uneven ground and a lot of elevation change, we can use gravity to help us out here. So we're going to get this tank in position higher than the blueberry patch and see if we can get enough pressure to do what we need to do with the irrigation system. So we're going to move this, and the neat thing about an IBC tote is you want to move it empty. This is not so empty. This has had some rainwater in it. So we're going to empty that out and be able to get it moved. Okay, so what's our plan with the IBC tote? Well, we want to gravity feed the water to the blueberry patch. My first concern with gravity feed is, do I have enough pressure to enough PSI to be able to use my automatic timer? I've got a timer that I use. It's battery powered. Obviously has a 3/4 inch inlet, 3/4 inch outlet, and it needs 25 PSI to be able to activate the diaphragm in there to turn the valve on and off. So obviously if you're hooking up to your water hose, no big deal. Your well pressure, your city pressure probably has plenty to do that. But we're not doing that, we're gravity feeding. So I have to make sure I've got enough head pressure to be able to activate that automatic timer. So how do we even begin to calculate that? Well, I'm no physicist and I'm no hydraulic expert, but I do know that if you look at the elevation difference between your outlet and your water source, that you take that vertical elevation. Again, it makes no difference whether I'm 800 feet up the side of the mountain, it's the vertical elevation. So if you calculate that vertical elevation there, that's what you use in your equation. It's basically your vertical elevation times 0.433. And if you do that math, that'll let you know that, okay, if you have a water source that's 100 feet, let's use 100 feet because that'd be a good example. If you got a water source that's 100 feet higher than your outlet, 100 times 0.433 is 43 PSI. So if I was 100 feet in elevation higher than the blueberry patch, then I could get 43 PSI. Again, I'm shooting for 25. So if you do the reverse math there, if you take 25 PSI as my minimum, divide that by 0.433, I think that comes to 57 and some odd change there. I can't remember exactly, but if I remember my calculations correctly. So just a minimum of 57 feet in elevation is what I'm shooting for. Well, do I have that? Well, I don't have an altimeter, so I can't figure that out. Barometer, you could possibly work all that stuff out, but I'm just eyeballing it. And what I'm using to eyeball it is the top of our house. The top of our house is about 30 feet. And where I'm standing, I'm gauging is about 15 to 20 feet. Again, it's just spitballing it, but I think I'm about 15 to 20 feet higher, so I'm close. And the reason why I'm picking this one specific spot, as you can see, I have this platform here, and it's started to rot out. It was the boys' platform for their zip line. We had a zip line cable that goes down to this little treehouse element there. So the boys have outgrown this. They don't use it anymore. I need to take it down, but I haven't yet. But the platform is obviously unsafe. The decking, it was just some OSB decking, is rotted through. So I don't want kids using that anyway. So I'm going to take the pedestal off here and use this as a nice level platform to set this base on. So it's going to give me another foot in the elevation where I'm standing. So I'm hoping that'll be close, and we'll just see. What I'll do is set this tank in place, put some water in it, put my 3/4 inch hose, run it all the way down to my hookup. I have a pressure gauge I'll put on there, and we'll just see what we're getting, see if we're even close. And then of course I can obviously put the timer on there and see if it'll trigger. So that's what we're going to try to do. Okay, so obviously that was easy. Got that in place, nice sturdy base. I don't think it'll go anywhere, put 500 pounds. I've seen a bunch of kids jump up and down it, so we'll think that'll be all right. So again, our test is this going to produce enough pressure to activate my timer? If it doesn't, then of course we'll have to figure out some other ways. Last year I had this lower, and of course it wouldn't activate the timer. That's how I discovered that it had a minimum pressure. So I had to do the next best thing. Instead of having an automatic timer, I had kids come out, had my boys go out on a certain time of day and run it. So it was kind of an automatic timer, I guess, but it was kid driven. So they'd come out and run it for 20 minutes or whatever and then turn it back off. So hopefully we can be even more automatic than that. Okay, so now we got the tank in place. So what's next? Next we're going to run garden hose down to the blueberry patch. Hopefully I've got enough garden hose. We'll find that out here real quick. So we'll get the hose run, and then we'll put some water in this. We'll put the pressure gauge on it, do some testing, see what we got. Okay, well it looks like we had enough hose, which was good. That's always a good thing. And again, what I have is a drip irrigation system here in the blueberry patch that hooks right up to here. And I've got the other attachment that screws into here, and of course this is a quick release. And so I'll just hook that up, and what I'll do is the automatic valve I want to put right here at this junction. So the quick release to the irrigation system will obviously be on the other side of the automatic timer, and this will screw into the top. So we'll get that put together and see what we can do there. And like I said, put some water in and do some testing. We'll talk briefly about the irrigation system. So this irrigation system I put in last year, and it's just, it's actually a cheap, see there's some spiders down in it, cheap Chinese version. Obviously you can get some better quality stuff. I wanted to try this last year to see if it was any good, see I knew what I was doing before I wasted more money on something I didn't know how to install properly. So, but I was really impressed with how this stuff works. Again, a little bit of flow, flow variation because it's just cheaply made, but this stuff works pretty well. It's just a 1/4 inch line. You get it by the roll. I think I got a 250-foot roll of 1/4 inch, and you have all the little accessories that come with it. You have the little junctions. You have the actual nozzles. And I liked it so much when we put the irrigation system in for our straw bale garden last year. I used the same thing, and of course just hooked that up to the well so it would pump straight from the well and didn't have gravity feed. So, but they work pretty well. Like I said, I've been impressed with it. Here's our automatic timer. This is an Orbit model 62061N. And believe it or not, this is actually made in China as well. So the way it works, little computer brain, takes some batteries. Supposed to be weatherproof. I did actually leave this out on the backyard all last year, and it did pretty well. Seemed to hold up. But you've got all these different settings. You can set it to auto. You can set your clock. You start time, what time of day you want it to run, how long, how often. So you can set all those things if you wanted to run for 20 minutes every other day or whatever the case may be. So obviously you can just kind of dial that in. Just got this on Amazon. Again, you just look at automatic timers. The thing that like I said, that I was a little discouraged with, and I should have done more research, but in none of the Amazon descriptions does it say you need 25 PSI. So the whole intention of buying this was to be able to just do irrigation locally. You just drip. I didn't need pressure. I wasn't operating sprinkler heads. I was just using drip irrigation, so I didn't need the pressure, but it wouldn't operate the diaphragm inside here to actually turn the valve on. So that's something that you need there. So what I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to hook this hose to here. So that'll be the kind of the test. I need at least 25 PSI coming to this part here. So that would hook to the timer, and then my adapter would attach to this part. Of course, don't cross thread it, dummy. And let's see, we have to do a little work on that because that's not being very compatible. But the way that works, of course, then that goes into here in the quick release, and then you've got your feed and your water. Now, like I said, what I'm going to do is test. I've got this pressure gauge. It's a 3/4 inch threaded pressure gauge. So I'll be able to screw that onto the end of the hose here. We'll see, we'll test for leaks, but this is goes up to 100 psi, and this will just be a real quick way to test to see if I'm hitting that 25 pounds minimum. So what's the next step? Well, I got to put water in the tank, so that requires me getting the tractor, getting the 55-gallon drum, putting some water in the 55-gallon drum, transporting that up to the tank, lifting that above the tank so gravity feeds into the tank, and so forth and so on. So that's my next step. All right, so now's the Pepsi challenge here. Let's look at our pressure gauge. Our pressure gauge is reading about 19. Actually, about 18 it looks like. Depends on which way I lay it. So that may make, yeah, lay it down the right way and it makes it 20 pounds. So that may explain maybe the gauge is a little suspect there. So the real test, of course, is I can put this on there and see what we're going to get. So let's just do that. So let's do the old-fashioned shut-off valve here. Get my box out of the way so I don't get it wet. Ouch. All right, so again, this device is, it's defaults in off, obviously, or defaults with the valve closed. So we want it to be open. It has to have 25 pounds of pressure to open that. So I'm going to switch to auto, and then I'm going to go to manual. Yeah. So again, unfortunate there. If I would take the hose further down the hill, I may be able to get 25 pounds of pressure, but maybe not the case. Well, we could not reach 25 psi from the tank down to the blueberry patch. So I'm not going to be able to trigger my automatic timer. It doesn't have enough psi to trigger that. So what are my options now? Well, obviously I could take the tank further up the hill. That would get me the more elevation that I need. Now again, if you look at that, we talked about multiplying your elevation by 0.433. So to do easy math, every 10 feet gains you 4.3 psi. So if I'm at 20 psi roughly, and I need to go to 25, then I need to go about 10 to 15 feet. Obviously closer to 15, maybe 12, 13 feet, somewhere around in there. If I can come down lower than that, now where I'm standing right now, if I did a bird's eye view of where I had that testing at the top of the blueberry patch, that's about a 4-foot relief right now. So one thing I could possibly do, because I don't need volume and I don't need pressure after I get to the automatic timer, because I just need water to fill my 1/4-inch lines and of course go through the drip irrigation. So the pressure is only needed for that trigger. So what I'm going to try is take some additional hose, and I'm going down the hill. Obviously the blueberry patch is here, but the hill continues on down. The barn is easily 80 feet lower than us. Well, maybe not that, maybe 60 feet. But I can take the hose down, maybe another 10 feet, see if I've got PSI, where I reach 25, and then if I've got enough hose, even bring the hose back up to the connection point here, because again, water is going to reach equilibrium. As long as that tank's full, it'll always push water down and even back around up to a certain point. Now we'll see if I'm making a liar out of myself. We'll test it here. I don't know that I have enough garden hose, but we'll do some testing and see what we can come up with. Of course, this is the part of the hill that's covered in briars too. Sure enough. All right, so I'm about See, I'm 6 foot tall, so I'm about 10 feet lower. And I've got 26 pounds of pressure when I hold it up here. If I put it on the ground, I can get 28 if I put it on the ground. So obviously if the blueberry patch was right here, I'd be in business. That's not an option. So again, in theory, I should be able to put a hose here, run it back up to the blueberry patch, have my timer here, and be able to have enough to trigger the timer, but still get water up to the blueberry patch. Now that's theory, we'll see. What I need to do is see right at 25, I need to put the timer on this and see if it actually will trigger the diaphragm. Okay, so again, laying it down here, I've got about, laying it on the ground, I get about 28. Let's see if I can bend this hose without cracking it, since it's as brittle as it is. Okay, so if this thing takes 25 psi, if I turn this on to manual, then it should kick on. Looky there. Now we're cooking with gas, or water in this sense. So that's going to work. That's going to produce water. Now again, question is, you can tell there's not a lot of pressure there. Still a bit of air. Not a lot of pressure there, but is that going to be enough to drive water back up? Again, I'm no hydrologist, but I think that will work. I just need more hose because I'm out of hose. So seems to be working. So I'm not dead in the water. Ha, pardon the pun. I managed to hornswaggle our house water hose. And yes, hornswaggle is a technical term. My wife comes out to wash her car. She's going to be distraught though. So I've got 100 feet of hose here. That would be plenty for me to do this test. So let's give this a shot. It's coming. Feel it blowing air. There it is. All right. So we've got water. Okay, so I go to the furthest one away. You can see this black irrigation line I have here. And if I just pull the mulch back a little bit, get the Virginia creeper out of the way. See, we've had a lot of rain, so this is, yeah, see, check it out. So it's squirting. Squirt. In fact, it's actually got pretty good pressure, so even more pressure than I would need. So obviously I need to get more hose because I can't rob all the hose from around here. Can't be hose poor elsewhere. But this actually would work. Now, I like the idea of not having to move my tank simply because I have that platform there. I can get right to it with the tractor. If I had to go up another 10, 15 feet in elevation up the mountain, then that's not a very easy place for me to get the tractor. In fact, my next bench, my next flat spot is a good 40 feet in elevation, but it's another 100 yards further back there. So that would require even more hose. And if I was going to run line that far, I'd be better off just going further out that point to a spring and digging out that spring, which again is on the list to do just when equipment and supplies make sense. But right now, this is working fine. So here I've got my blueberry patch irrigated now. So what are my inputs? Well, my inputs are still, I have to transport water to the top of the hill there, or to the tank with the tractor. And I have to pump water out of the well. And obviously I've got some 12-volt pumps. I can go down to the creek and fill up the 55-gallon drums there. That's not a problem. And if I really wanted to feel froggy, ideally you'd think, well, make the 275-gallon tank portable. Make a trailer for it, or find a way to transport it up and just park it. And that makes a lot of sense too. So again, just looking at inputs, looking at costs, looking at all those things, what makes the most sense to irrigate this. Now the plan with this, these 12 blueberry bushes that we have here are kind of tests. There are 3 different species of blueberries. And if they do well in our soil and in our climate and all those type of things, and if we don't kill them just because we have a black thumb, then we want to expand. We actually want to go this way with the blueberry patch, and then of course further up this hill. So as we do that, we want to make sure we've got this system worked out pretty well. So if I'm going to irrigate 12 blueberry plants and say, well, it's worth investing this portable tank or some sort of rain catchment up there, then of course you make sure that it can be upgraded or it can grow and expand as we expand the blueberry patch. So that's kind of our key discussion there about water with the blueberry patch. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed that stimulating conversation about irrigation there. As you can see, we did finally get it worked out, and we do have water going to the blueberry patch. Of course, it's been raining every day since. Put that together, so go figure. But as we draw to a close, I wanted to announce our winner of our Stormtech flashlight. That was our drawing for the month of March, and we want to congratulate Frank Fallon of Charleston, West Virginia, right here in our hometown area. Frank was the winner, so Frank, we'll get you a flashlight, and I hope you enjoy that. And we're going to announce our gift for April's drawing. It is another Stormtech product, which I really like, and it is a Stormtech multi-tool. Pretty handy tool, pretty heavy duty. This is not a cheaply made product. This one's built very nicely. So that'll be our drawing item for April. So again, if you are not on an email list and you would like to be registered to win this gift, then just go to our website, redtoolhouse.com. On the home page, scroll down to the bottom, and you will see our invitation there to click to sign up for our email list. Again, we're not going to blow you up. We're not going to sell your data. We're just going to communicate with you about what's going on here at the farm. So if you, again, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do. That helps us. Again, just encourages us to keep plugging along. And be sure to check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/Red Tool House Farm. And like us there, and you'll be able to keep track of what we've gone on there as well. Take care.